Hello boys and girls, it's Grumpy Granny from Grogy's Patch back again. I'm going to do an update today on what happened after my bad eBay seller experience. About 2 months ago I posted a video about this. If you haven't seen it, stop this one now, go back and watch it. It's called Cranky Granny After Bad eBay Seller Experience, I think, something like that. Check it out, it only goes for 6 minutes, and come back and watch the rest of this. Now, although a lot of you might think that I'm cranky and all the rest of it, I'm actually a pretty easygoing person in real life, and very few things actually get my back up. There are a couple though, I'll give you an idea. Cheating husbands, people who you thought were your friends, but you find out they're bitching about you behind your back. Let's see, someone harming or hurting my kid, and now I'm going to add to that, eBay sellers who are... See you next Tuesdays, if you get my drift. So we had this guy who sold me the car part, and this is the one I took out of my car and used his to fix my car. This is a door actuator, if you don't know. It's the lock on your door, makes your door shut. If it doesn't work, you can't shut your door. There's a bit of toing and froing because the part wasn't right. They didn't send it the way it was supposed to be sent, and he was very rude. I posted the YouTube video, then I sat on it for a couple of weeks because I needed to not be angry when I actually gave this guy feedback, which I'll put on the screen now. And that feedback says, paid for express post, not done. Item was not delivered to post office for several days after postage label was purchased, even though they say usually post within 1 business day of being paid. Postage price was severely inflated. A clip on the part was broken. This was not in the description. Seller was quite rude in communications. In all honesty, yeah, that's bad feedback, and I did give him negative feedback, not even neutral feedback, it was negative. But everything in there, there's no emotion in there, there's no anger in there, that's just the facts, right? Which is what I wanted to do, deliver the facts. So I've done that. Let's fast forward about, let's see, if that was 2 months ago, let's fast forward about a month from that, and a month ago from now. It was at the start of March, because I was on a bit of a listing challenge. I was trying to list 30 a day. Yeah, so I thought listing DVDs would be quick and easy and I would get a lot done. One of the DVDs I listed was Are You Being Served? And you might have wondered what the headshot in the middle on the thumbnail was. That's the guy of Are You Being Served. Really nice guy. And it was going to be free postage because this was going to be one of the first ones I was going to actually send untracked, which meant I was just going to put it in a plain envelope with 2 stamps on it. So at $4.95 it would cost me a couple of bucks for the postage and I'd still make a couple of bucks. It got sold. A couple of weeks later I get a message from the buyer saying that he hadn't received it in very bad broken English type speak. I'm going to say, like as if he was trying to make out that he wasn't very literate, shall we say, in the way he put his messages. But something bugged me. I did send him a nice reply. I said, look, I'm really sorry about that. It was on the Monday and Australia Post still had to, on their estimated time of delivery, was going to be that Friday. So I said to the guy, let me know if you haven't received it by then and I'll gladly give you a refund. Like, it was only $4.95, $5, so it didn't matter. But something was really bugging me about the icon for the bloke. So I went and checked it, and sure enough, that icon was from the guy that I bought the car part off. This is a bit strange. So I then went into his account to go back and see if my negative feedback was still there or whether he'd gotten it removed. Well, blow me down. He's left me a reply to my negative feedback. And I'll put it up on the screen while I read it to you because it's pretty good. And this just goes to show the lengths that some sellers will go to make themselves sound good, not accept responsibility for their own shortcomings. It says, thanks for the review, Leanne Grogan, or Leanne Gorgon, he says. You are the same person who 1 month ago left my customer service staff racist and abusive messages, which I can show proof. This is not a legitimate review because this person is just wanting a free part and free money by sending these types of messages and claims. So for this reason, this negative review is not valid, and any customer who acts like this is not welcome to my store. What the fuck? Sorry, I've just said it, but what the fuck? I left racist and abusive messages? How dare he? My back is really up by the time I've read this. Here I've got this guy, he's not only left me this comment on my feedback, But he's also claiming to have not received his DVD, and he's actually pretending to be a different person. So I kept it very nice, and I kept everything, all my responses polite. Every message had started with something like, oh, I'm sorry that you're unhappy. And I explained to him, you purchased this when it said there was no tracking. So you can't expect me to have tracking on an item that you didn't have tracking for. I personally think this guy has deliberately gone into my store. He has found something, one of the probably 3 things in my entire store that wasn't sent by tracked mail. He's then bought that, and then he has gone on to say, oh, it didn't arrive. So now I can give you a bad review for not having tracking and for my item not arriving. So on the Friday, he messaged me again to say, yes, he definitely still hadn't received it, and why hadn't there been tracking, etc, etc. I didn't stuff around. I straight away refunded his money in full and apologised once again. Okay, so where are we now? The guy has said he didn't receive his DVD. I've given him a full refund. Is that the end of it? No. He then complains, and then he leaves me negative feedback saying that I didn't put tracking on his parcel and that he didn't receive his item. Well, you know, when you buy an untracked item, that's a risk you take. I think he did receive it, and he was using it for other purposes, which became clear a couple of days later. I sort of ummed and ahed over it for a day or so, what I was going to do. Would I contact eBay and report this guy? I then decided that yes, that was what I was going to do, but I wanted to run it past some other people, and I'm in Chris Furlong's Champion Mentorship group, which, you know, highly recommended, great group, fantastic. It's really helped me get my eBay business to where it is today in a very short space of time. So I presented it to the group and explained it, and, you know, of course, their response was, go to eBay and report it. And said, I think this guy's ripping me off because he's saying he didn't get his DVD when he really did, because this is the same guy I bought the car part of. Well, what do you know? The next morning, I get a new message from this fella, 899 Auto. 899_auto, just in case you're interested, everyone out there, and you want to block him. You don't buy a car part off this guy. So his new message says, hello, I wanted to know, since you left negative to my feedback, what do you want to remove the feedback? Do you want a refund or something? Depends how you choose, but I can remove the bad one I gave you since you give better customer service. Regards, AJ. Honest to God, there is the proof that this guy deliberately bought that untracked DVD so that he could say he didn't receive it. He could then try and bribe me to remove my negative feedback off his account. If I did that, he would then remove the negative feedback he gave me. Like, honestly, what are the lengths that some resellers will go to not have negative feedback? It's just ridiculous. This guy was playing games with me. I still think my feedback was fair and it should have been negative. I think he's a rip-off merchant. His postage rates were like twice what they should have been. Then he goes and does something like this. The end result was I actually went to eBay and they could see, and I've done everything possible by refunding him in full as soon as the date came around. What they did in the end was they removed the negative feedback he left on my account, and they removed the negative reply that he left on my negative feedback. The reply that he left that everyone could see on my feedback saying that I was racist and abusive, that got removed, but my negative feedback is still there. So I'm pretty happy with that. He's still selling on eBay. Look, personally, I think they should have given him a little holiday from selling on eBay for a bit. He was just trying to straight out bribe me, which is totally against eBay's terms. He's just a rip-off merchant. So stay away from, I'll put his little icon up here, 899 Auto or 899_auto. Stay away from this guy because, yeah, he's not a nice guy. He's not a nice person to deal with. So there you go. There's the update, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Hello, boys and girls. Favourite grumpy pack. Blah, 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 blah.